Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Optimized. My name is Laziena, and with me is my co-host Nashid. Today, we get the honor of meeting Sam and Misty, who is coming all the way from Spain. And I'm really looking forward to the conversation of exploring what it means to create from truth instead of fear, and why messy is often the most honest starting point. I feel that perfection tells us to wait until we're ready, but courage invites us to begin before we feel prepared. So, Nashid, I will pass the torch on to you, and I will allow our guests to introduce their lovely self and share with us a little bit of how they are participating in being the hero of their own transformation.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Laziena, for this, to have these two beautiful guests from in our side. And definitely, we will have a rocking podcast today. So before we start, right? So Sam and Missy, right? So we want to know about you, how you create this transformation journey, and how you start your own transformations and your thoughts of becoming a hero in your transformation journey. So share us your thoughts, and we'll start right away with that.
Okay, so I'm Sam. This is my daughter Misty, and my journey has been a complicated and bumpy one. Basically, I was an estate agent in London for a number of years, and then we moved to Spain. We ran a bar, and when lockdown happened, I decided to really step into my spirituality. But I didn't start a business straight away because I wanted to be perfect. So I think I've probably done about 500 oracle card readings for free because I wasn't good enough. And people then started to want to give me money. I was like, hang on a minute, maybe I'm holding myself back here. Maybe I'm the problem. And this could be a way of creating a living for myself and feeding my family while doing something that I love. And that changed along the way. I still do oracle card readings, but I also space clear remotely and in person, which is changing negative energy into positive energy. I also run spiritual circles. Now, when I was asked to do it, and I was terrified. I had no clue. I'd never even been to one. And all my oracle cards were saying, just say yes, worry about how to do it later. I was so petrified. The first top one I did, it was the quickest meditation in the history of the world. I was like, it was not relaxing at all. But that was 3 years ago. I now run 2 in-person ones and 1 online one. And over that time, I have learned so much. And the main thing I've learned is that we are all perfect within our own imperfection, right? There is no such thing as being perfect. And if we wait until all the things are in place, like when we moved to Spain, because we're from England originally, if we'd waited, we would never have got here. If we just, and it's been the best thing since that we did moving to Spain and then setting up my business. But I couldn't have even imagined it if I'd held on to my perfectionism. And I'm a Virgo, so I can be very perfect. When I lived on my own, you had to make an appointment to come round because my flat had to be spotless. I've overcome that now.
Yeah.
Misty, do you want to say your story?
Yeah. So after lockdown and everything, I was at my last year of school and I sort of didn't know where to go. I didn't know if I wanted to go to university or not, so I didn't really know what steps I wanted to take next. So I worked in a bar for a little bit, hated it. Like the first bar I worked in, hated it, didn't like it. It was the people I worked with. I was like, ugh. So I worked there for a month, and then mum and dad were like, sort of, you're going to have to try again because you can't just not do anything. So I got another job in a different bar, and I loved it. I loved the people, everyone's so nice. And I worked there for a year, and I was sort of like, I don't want to do this forever. Like, I love it, like, I love the people I work with, but I don't want to do it forever, because I read lots of books about how to be successful and stuff. And this opportunity sort of fell in my lap. One of Mum's friends was going to sell her business, and I sort of thought, oh, maybe I'll have a go at that. I'm looking for something different that I can do alongside of photography, which is what I love doing. So I had a look into that, and I was like, oh, I'll have a go at that. And she was like, oh, I don't want to sell it then if you want to do it. So we decided to co-own it together and sort of grew from there. But I'm a perfectionist as well. So when I first started, I was sort of like, oh, I don't want to do it like that. I don't know everything yet. I want it to be perfect. But in the end, I realized if I waited for perfection, I'd never get anywhere ever. So I sort of overcame that, and I've still got my moments. I'm sort of like, oh, I won't post that. It's not perfect. I want it to be perfect.
Or, Mum, is this okay?
Yeah, yeah. They need approval.
The validation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it sort of went from there. But I definitely feel like if you're starting out, just go for it. Because it's scary when you think, oh, what are people going to say about me? What if people see me? What are people in my class going to think that they've seen my TikTok and stuff? But in the end, it doesn't matter. If you love what you do, or you're learning to love what you do, you sort of grow from that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's something you're thinking something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, I'm asking Laziena as well, right?
Oh, I'm sorry, you went a
You're
little low.
thinking something.
Oh, you can tell
Yeah,
that I
yeah.
was thinking
So
something.
yeah, right, right. Yeah. So what about you, Laziena, right? How you relate that
Well,
and we'll come up. Yeah.
yeah. Thank you for asking that. I find I relate to that heavily because I feel like I started my entrepreneurship or business or leadership thinking a little bit later on in life. I'm very new to that space. And now that I feel like I stepped into it fully, but at the beginning, a lot of my not good enough was showing up, and tied that in with my need to be perfect. I was always self-judging. I wasn't sure of, although I felt confident in myself and I knew that I was guided, I got intimidated by the whole process of the knowledge that's needed when it comes to making a business work or make your dreams come true. It was facing like not only like the emotional aspect of it and the personal development of facing myself, it was also, well, I didn't learn about SEO, for example. I didn't learn about the things that's supposed to make you viral. There's all these people that I see that go viral, and I'm thinking, oh, they have immediate success. But all of that comes with having some knowledge about, like, even to do a podcast, needing to have structure, needing the right tools, the right equipment. There's so much that goes beyond it, making sure that there's presence online in every single aspect of social media. So if someone wants to see you, they have to also they have to research you. They have to know what you're offering. So you not only have to have a good website, a good selling point, a good Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, all of these aspects of it takes a lot to keep up with. So becoming a subject matter expert in all of that was taking away from what I really wanted to talk about. And so I decided, well, okay, I can do both at the same time. I can learn how to utilize LinkedIn by knowing Nashid, and I can learn about, how to what platforms to use in podcasting, etc. from my friend John, and learn the technical side of it. He can help me with my website. My daughter can help me with editing, while I'm also sharing the message. So it doesn't have to be perfect. It just needs to be authentic. It doesn't have to be, it doesn't have to have the right things doesn't have to be said all the time.
Right.
I often get intimidated by a lot of people who say, okay, well, I'm a speaker, so you have to go to speaking classes. And I don't think that those are not valuable lessons, but they scared me, they intimidated me, and I stopped myself from growing because I felt like if I didn't get that I had to have all of these things tied it up nice and pretty and then unveil the bow and then everything will, come in abundance. But I was really limiting myself in there and it stopped me from, there were a lot of stopping myself. I was the problem. It was me.
I
Right.
think we are often the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also had a book published, and I didn't think that I had a comfort zone. But when I pressed that button to send it, was the hardest button I've ever pressed. It was like, is it good enough? Am I good enough? Is what I'm saying relevant enough? There was all these, is it perfect? My spelling and my grammar can be a bit because my head goes too fast for my hands.
Yeah.
And it's like, will anyone even be interested in what I've got to say? And
It's
it
a
is
form of the imposter syndrome, isn't it?
Yeah,
When you think that, oh, other people can do it so much better than me, why would someone
Right.
do me when I'm like not as good as they are? It's a form of
Absolutely.
comparing, isn't it?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And talking about that, like for me is perfect is, yeah, I did the same practice, right? So to become a perfect everything and everything. So yeah, and I have my entrepreneurship journey for the last 7 years and everything. So initially it was like all perfect, all perfect. Then I realized that it shouldn't be all perfect. Rather, we will have to finish the line. And the expectations of you just to be settled 100%, and then we grow as per we go, right? It's not going to be perfect all the way. And then we lose the clients, we lose the customers, we lose the relationship, friendship, and everything. So sometimes it's not going to be perfect, but it's going to be really achieve the goals, targets, and everything you desire, right? So that's maybe we need to talk more about that. And coming back to you, like about that, so I have my next stories to share, or stories that to hear from you, that any kind of projects or goals you found delayed because it was not perfect from your experience or your stories. You can share that, because a lot of our audience is more on the perfect side. But you, as a subject matter experts, being your stories, right? So you delayed some of the projects, or you said like, okay, stop it, let's go, something like that. So Sam, starting from you.
Yeah, with the book, I had a friend read it first. And as I was writing it, I didn't read it back. I was like, she could sort that out. And she said she felt like a code breaker sometimes because I was all over the place. It's like, what are you trying to say? But I decided if I just sent it to someone else, then I couldn't get too in my head about it being perfect. They could worry about the grammar, they could worry about the spelling, the things that I'm not good about. My message is authentic. And so that's how I overcame that, was just like, okay, I know my limitations. I know that I'm not ever going to be the best at spelling, the best at grammar, but I have this story I want to tell. So if I'm going to get out of my own way, I've got to work out how I'm going to get out of my own way. And for me, it was send it to someone else, let them do that bit of it to be able to move out of my own way. And I think some of the time it's just, how much do you want this? Are you prepared for it not to be perfect?
Right.
And just go, but I really want this. So, and none of us are perfect. We're flawed. We're human. And once we can realize that actually there is no such thing as perfection, We can just do the best that with what we've got at any given moment, and that's what everyone else is doing as well. You know, do we see anyone who's perfect? They might come across as perfect on social media, but in real life, they're not. And it's just like going, okay, not one of us is perfect. So why am I trying to be?
Yeah.
Misty?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it was putting myself out there, which was the thing I was struggling with both, like with my photography and with my other business. It was okay, how am I going to grow this? And I was like, I need to put myself out there more, which I found scary. The fact that you had to put your face in front of people for them to be like, oh, get to know you a bit better. And I was like, I don't want to do that. And then it's sort of like, I sat with it and I was like, okay, what are all these people that have inspired me to grow as a person? What did they do? They didn't do it sitting behind a screen, not showing their face. They showed who they were, and that's why people liked them. I was sort of like, okay, it's not going to be perfect to start, but if I just do it, I'll get better at it when I go forward. I also thought it didn't help when your friends were like, how long's this going to last? And
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
when your friends are sort of like, and I'm like, well, it's got nothing to do with you. So I think that was a stop for me as well. When someone I thought was my friend saying, oh, but how are you going to do it? And I was like, I don't know. I'm just going to go with the flow a little bit, see how I get on. And sort of.
Yeah. And when are you getting a real job? You had office on.
Yeah. Every time she saw me, she'd go, oh, so when are you getting a real job? Or like, when are you going to study like a university degree? And I was like, I don't want to do that. So I sort of just ignored her in the end.
Yeah.
But it was hard for you to do that.
Yeah, it was hard, especially when my friends didn't understand why I'd get upset about it. I wouldn't cry over it, but it would affect me. So I'd go, when I'd get home, I'd be like, she's done it again. Like, when am I getting a real job? And Mum was like, you just got to get on with it. Don't let her affect what you're doing. Because you're not going to get anywhere if you're just going to sit there thinking, oh, everyone's thinking that I'm going to fail with before I've even started.
Yeah.
And also, it's really important to remember that someone else's opinion of you is none of your business, right? We're not all going to be liked by everyone. We're not. And it doesn't matter who you are. I may not be your cup of tea. That's totally fine with me. You know, you may not be mine. And you don't have to be that perfect person who's liked by everyone, because even if we could find perfection, which we can't, we wouldn't still not be liked by everyone.
Absolutely.
So it really helped me to go, you know what, it doesn't matter, I don't like everyone, so why should everyone like me? This is me. I'm who I am. If you don't like it, that's fine, but it's none of my business.
Yeah, that's a very toughest call, right? You have to make, and most of the time in your initial stages of entrepreneurship, business, jobs, and everything, we reach out to the person who are not in the same journey. Like, so I reach out to an entrepreneur and I'm asking how I change my 9 to 5 job, or how I share my relationship status, that I'm not having a good relationship with my wife, my kids, my moms, and everything, because the guy is an entrepreneur. Probably he's not a relationship coach and everything. So we reach out to the wrong person, and our expectations was very high. And then we reach out to the people who are not having an experience and always judging like what other people says and everything. So I like your words, like going with the flow. Sometimes you need to go with the flow and you can find your destiny, right? And you don't have to chase by the people, like what they think and that what they thought of it, and we are in the right directions or the wrong directions. So you just have to go with the. So Laziena, you have any thoughts, right?
I think it's similar to everything that you guys have shared. It's heavily relying on the opinions of others held me back because I needed that validation. I didn't believe in myself. So I thought, here are people that I'm around. Let me ask for their advice. And sometimes the advice that I was getting, I would recognize that it was coming from their own insecurities, and then I wasn't feeling heard. So I was like, okay, what do I do with this? Because that first of all, it stopped me from moving forward with anything that I wanted to do, because I had so much of my self-worth attached to their opinion that I had to stop and deal with, okay, well, this person doesn't believe in me, and I can't believe that this is the advice that they're giving me. How can they not see my vision? And then realize, like, working through that internal dialogue alone showed me that it wasn't really them, it was me who needed to step into my own power. But then having that switch of, like, everything that you guys have shared, that other people are going through their own things, and we're all going to meet each other where we're at. And the saying of we can only meet people as deeply as we've met ourselves is also true. So once I learned to detach my worth from other people's opinion, and feel more confident in what I'm doing and honoring that, I started to pick up the microphone more. I started to do more videos, and I only started that in January. Before, I would like kind of shy away. And like you said, Missy, if I how can I be visible if I'm not talking? How can people know who I am if my face is not out there, if they don't know what my philosophy is? The kind of business that we are in, or the kind of purpose that we are serving, I would say, is transformational. It's mindset. A lot of times, the jobs that are service jobs, they're going to have visibility, and they're going to have a certain level of hustle that they have to do to get clients, because someone's always going to need an AC fix, or they're going to need plumbing, whatever service type jobs there are. Not, and I don't want to dismiss any of these, because they're very important to humanity. But we are in the work of mindset and emotional work and energy work. So when we are doing that, we're not going to resonate with everyone. And we're not going to be able to adapt to their thinking and their mindset, and share, and our messages are not necessarily going to be um received. So they have to know who we are, they have to know our philosophy. And I kept stopping myself for years, just being shy and not knowing that I'm powerful, or knowing that I'm powerful but worrying that I'm not doing it right. So I just relate to everything that you guys have shared in that sentiment.
Absolutely, absolutely. And the next your stories is all about is like whenever you do the job, like you are into the photography and you're in the business or any part of your projects and others. So what are the strategies you follow to have a flawless or like uninterrupted uh projects, life paths and everything? So any strategies you may share, like from Sam to Nishi, right? So you share to our audience will know that, okay, I have the same problems or same strategies. Can I share it? Like, so they will get the idea. So Sam, my question is to what are the strategies to follow to have the uninterrupted flawless of your achievements, projects, business, life goals, right? Like one of the things you mentioned that I'm okay what I am and I don't really matter for your decisions and everything. That's one of the strategy or going with the flow. Apart from that, anything you want to share that you achieve most in your life and your career path?
Yeah, I have a daily practice. So every morning I sit quietly with a cup of tea. I then journal. And sometimes it's yesterday was a good day. I did this, that, and the other, and no more than that. Other days it's reams and reams, but it just gets me out of my head so that I am able to leave anything that's bothering me to one side to get on with my life, rather than replaying it all the time. I also pull an oracle card every day for myself. So it's like, what do I need to know today? So like today I got take a nap, which is telling me don't hustle today. Don't go out trying to do loads of work. Just take it easy, do some other bits and bobs that I want to get done, but not pushing my business necessarily. And I find that those things really help to keep me on track. and help me going in the right direction, and also help me to go, because my big thing is I get a client, I'm like, I need to do it now. But it wasn't urgent for them yesterday. So why, as soon as they contact me, do I think it's urgent? So my strategy now is, and I'm just doing this is really new to me, is go, okay, even if I have space tomorrow, I'm not going to do it tomorrow. I'm going to leave it 24 hours and then I'll book them in to do it then, rather than be like, oh, it's urgent, it's urgent, it's urgent, because then it just becomes overwhelming for me. Because I'm like, I've got all these other things that either need to be done or I want to do. And then I'm like, oh, I've just thrown myself right off my own schedule. Right? And that's the biggest problem for me, is like, I throw myself off my own schedule, and then I get cross with myself for not doing the things that I said I was going to do. Yeah, that affect no one else but me. So and that's a work in progress. I still haven't nailed that.
Yeah, and you're doing the journals, right? You're talking about the journal. Yeah, that's it. Absolutely. Thumbs up, right? So it's really helpful. Yeah. Sorry to, yeah.
Yeah, don't worry. I think for me, it's been a bit of a learning situation, because when I first started with one of the other business I do, I wanted to do it every day because obviously it was the only source of income I had. So I wanted to do it from Monday to Sunday, all day, every day, and I burnt myself out in the end. So in the end, I figured out that I could only work Monday to Friday and then have Saturday and Sunday off, so I could rethink about what I wanted to do the next week. And that's helped me a lot, because if you're doing it every single day, you're just creating this sort of like stress for yourself, because you're like, I need it to work, I need it to work, I need it to work. But sometimes you need to take a step back a little bit, see the big picture, and then you can move forward the next week. Because if you're just going at it every single day, you're just going to burn yourself out. Or like, if you're doing the same things all the time and nothing's changing, then something's not working. And I think you have to have a lot of patience when it comes to any sort of business that you're starting by yourself, because patience is the main thing you've got to have. Because what you could be at it for 5 months or more and nothing's working, and then you go, okay, well, I'm giving it a deadline. If it doesn't work by October, then I'm going to look for something else. And that might be where it changes, because you're like, okay, I'm going to try something different because this is the last month I've got until I'm going to try something else. And I think books help me a lot. I read lots of books and they help me a lot with my mindset and where I want to go. So I think books are very helpful. I like to read.
And also, by you having Saturday and Sunday off as a rule, you're also allowing space for inspiration to come in. Yeah. Because when you're walking the dogs or you're watching something on the telly, a film or whatever, then you go, hang on a minute. I have pads of notepads everywhere, because when I'm watching a film, I'd be like, oh, idea. So I write that down. And so by relaxing, you're allowing that inspiration in.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. And when you write it down in your journals or your notebooks and everything, it really directly goes to your head, and your mind will remind you like, hey, you have a deadlines and everything. That's a very good part. That's a very good part. And you keep proposing in the right directions and you don't really fall apart, right? And that's one of the reasons, right? And the reading books, I really loved it, right? So I have 2 daughters, and my 2 daughters, I pushed them to read the books. Initially, they were not reading the books, so I put them a surprise, right? If you read the books, you will earn money, all right? And that's they motivated. If you earn chapters 1 book, right? So you will earn this kind of digital money, right? Where you can buy stuff for the families, for use and as well. So initially she was stuck, and then gradually she was like, okay, I read this book, where is my money, right? And then he got another book, and it's what's a ripple effect. And trust me, this really worked, because I was hearing one of the podcasts, and I found this strategy, like how to keep these Gen Zs to read the books and everything. And reading books writing about the journals like Sam, it's really helpful, right? So if you have any thoughts, right, Laziena, right? So what about you? Like reading books, apart from
Yeah.
that, what you do?
For me, I'm gonna go into two different directions here, and then which will tie into our next question. So when it comes to practices that I do, I like to be intentional with my day. So the very first thing that I do in the morning is I set my intention of how I want to create, what I want to create today, and how I'm going to approach the day. And being able to face what comes in and what comes up. So that kind of it relieves a lot of pressure. So as I'm experiencing anything that comes up, I'm doing it with presence and intention and being aware of what's happening. But before I got to that spot, I had to, do a daily journaling. I used to do at the end of the day, like kind of decompress. Okay, what has my day been like? What would I like to change? How I would have liked to do it, to now switch it to being intentional in the beginning of the morning. And what that has allowed in my life, which is our next question, which is like, how has courage to launch messy change our growth and perspective? So a part of that in the answer for the previous question is I started to just radically accept who I am. I am I have a lot of self-belief. I know that I'm guided. I understand that my purpose and I know what that is. So regardless of how it turns out, whether it's messy or whether it's perfect, it's never going to be perfect. It's always going to be messy somehow, and embracing that I I don't want to even call myself messy, but me being me, 100% showing up in authenticity and just accepting that this message is going to be to the right audience. I'm making a difference in not just my own life, but as an extension of the people that I know, that kind of, propelled me into just showing up in general. So, I actually will ask this to Nashid. How has courage help you launch a growth in your perspective, change your perspective?
All right. So courage, you talk about the courage, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I made a bold decisions, right? So I
Yeah.
shared stories to a couple of my podcasts, my sessions is like I was in a comfort zone. I was in a
Mm-hmm.
comfort zone. I was traveling to Portugal. I was traveling to Madrid. I really have a business class travels, six-figure salaries and everything. But later I found out that I was selling ice creams, right? I always give these examples. I was selling ice creams. Like everyone is happy, like my kids, my wife, my father, mother, and everything. But back of the mind, when I think about myself, my growth really start. My growth was start in the middle. So about the courage, I close all my comfort zone and just pause, not the pause. I left or quit my corporate journey and started working with the startups and the local companies where the daily struggles, they were really messy, but I learned there and the growth just came from there.
Mm-hmm.
So about your question, courage is one of the biggest challenge and biggest perspective. You have to leave the comfort zone, either or, right? So if you want to have your 9 to 5 job and you are happy, go do it. If you want to change something, you need to have a lot of courage. Like I couldn't, the day one, I really, I was thinking, right? Like what people were thinking, right? So I was dropping my kids to the school, and she was very happy. When her friend asked, like, "Hey, what's your dad was doing, right? Your dad was doing a job, right?" And she was saying, like, "No, he just left the job, and he will start the something." And then I thought, like, no, what people think. The little kid are also thinking that I didn't have any job, and I was like backstab and everything from my mind perspective. Then I realized, no, they are right. I'm also right. So I need to move on. So courage is one of the things you need to change,
Oh, I think,
and if you want to go, and yeah, it's a right, really tough call.
yeah. Misty, Sam, how has courage changed your perspective on growth?
Well, we wouldn't be living in Spain if we didn't have courage. People said to us when we moved here, "You're so lucky." Actually, it's got nothing to do with luck. We made the decision and we just went, "Okay, let's do it." And absolutely everything we've done over the years really has involved courage. I was always hiding my spirituality because it's very woo-woo, you know. Most people don't speak to dead people. And so I hid it. I hid it for years and years. And it was very frightening going, actually, this is who I am. I'm not hiding it now. This is who I am. Like it or lump it, I'm authentically me. And you know what? As a rule, most people are being fine. And the people that haven't been fine, I didn't want in my life anyway. So yeah, it is scary.
Mm-hmm.
But you've got choice. You could stay. I was working in a chain of bars in England, struggling to make ends meet. My husband was I had 2 jobs actually. I was an entrepreneur there as well, but not successful. My husband was working. We just were covering our bills, but we had no life really, and 2 young children. So it's like, do we want to stay like this where there's not really much room for growth? There's not much opportunity to make more money. There's not much opportunity to spend time with our kids. Or are we just going to go, if it doesn't work out, we'll come back? Which is what we did. And I think you just need to go, if I'm happy with the status quo, fine, I'll stay here. If you're not, you've got to put on your big girl pants and go for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was going to say something similar with the fact that you have to sit down with yourself and think really what you want and sort of have a list or write it down and something and go, okay, this is really what I want to do. This is where I want to go. And then courage comes hand in hand with being scared and doing it scared, because when you know what you want, you're willing to fight for it. You're willing to be patient for it, but you have to have the courage, but it comes with a lot of scaredness.
And also, it's like, what's the worst thing that could happen, right? When we moved to Spain, worst thing that could happen is we'd hate it, the kids would hate it, and we'd end up going back and having to live with our parents, right? Worst case scenario. If we'd never tried it, we wouldn't know.
Yeah.
And then with my business, it's like, if it didn't work, which it has worked, but if it hadn't have worked, well, I'll go back to working in the kitchen then.
Yeah.
And I have since I've started my business, I wasn't earning enough money, so I got a job in the kitchen again while doing my business. But it's like, and you have to have the courage to go, okay, the timing's not quite right, but we need to eat. So what do I need to do?
Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you. Before we wrap up here today in this lovely conversation, what is one message, and we can each take turn, that you would want someone who is paralyzed by perfection right now? What would you want to say to their hearts?
I would say you're perfectly imperfect. Just pull on your big girl pants and do it.
I think there's one quote that I live by, is that everything always works out in my favor. So even if it doesn't work out the way you think it should or how you want it to, it will work out well in the end for you. So everything's always going to turn out what's best for you. So that's what I'd say.
Wow.
Beautiful.
Super. Beautiful.
What about you, Nashid?
Yeah, I think like it should be the go with the flow, and you should have the courage to conquer the comfort zone, and definitely journaling, reading books will help. And the thing is, don't care about what people say. At the end of the day, they will not be the one who will be there for you, right? So yeah, that's always perfect that if you have a subject matter experts or a friend, because you don't have a lot of friends. in the beginning. You can have a lot of friends in the beginning, but at the end of the day, you need one or two most successful people. Definitely, successful means like from your perspective that they are the ones who will guide you and help you in the long run. Similar like in a business. So go with the flow, start leaving the comfort zone, and then achieve what you want to share, right? And change the world.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I completely agree with everything that you guys said. And for me, perfection is not real because and I think Miss Sam and we all shared this earlier. It imperfection is where the beauty is, and just embrace yourself. Go inward and love you from the inside out, and everything else is going to blossom. And when you're feeling scared or don't have the courage, it's the best time to do it. And if I can do it, believe me, you can too.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you both for joining us. And Nashid, as always, it's a pleasure to have you as my awesome co-host. And we we would like to give you Sam and Misty and the we've done this before, but let's do it again. Just give us a shout out on how people can reach you. If should they want to work with you, what is it that you do? We'll also put it in the show notes, but you know, it's always nice to hear from you how you serve.
Right.
Yeah, so I'm an angel guide. So I read oracle cards. I specialize in space clearing, the removal of negative energy from properties, both in person and remotely. I also hold space for spiritual circles online and in person, and offer past life regression sessions. And I can be found at samangelguide.com and on all social media at samangelguide. So it's quite easy to find me.
Yes.
And I like doing travel, content creation, and photography. And you can find me mostly on TikTok at Misty Memories.
And your other business?
Yeah, but that's in Spain, isn't it?
And my friend Nashid.
Yeah, for me, it's like I am an entrepreneur and the life coach, right? And I have one of my other passion is like photography, right? And also I'm a part-time DJ as well. So I put a lot of hats, right? So it's a simple email like nashidali@gmail.com or nashidali in LinkedIn or in Facebook. You can reach out to me and I can really help guide from my experience from comfort zone to like from 9 to 5 jobs to entrepreneurship, from comfort zone to conquer your life journeys. And definitely, if you have any passion of photography or in music, yeah, I can be a part of that.
Awesome. And you can always reach me at laziena.com. I like to help people return to love after conflict. And if this episode resonate with you, please share it, like it, comment, subscribe. Let's get each other out there and meet the world. It's time for the world to meet us. Thank you.